Hi guys, my name is Carly Geisler and I'm going to be explaining my final project for CSC 106. For this project, I made a Mad Libs game. This game really has a lot of repeated algorithms, so I'm only gonna go over about one thing per algorithm to keep the video nice and short. So to get started looking at the code, we have our current scene global variable established up here. We're going to set that equal to 0. Essentially, every time the user presses the mouse, that scene is going to change. And then we have two empty arrays here. So the way the game works is the user can choose from two topics, either a dream topic or a grocery store topic. And then depending on which one they choose, they're going to be presented with a bunch of words that they're also going to get to choose from that are going to be stored into a Mad Lib later on. So these arrays are here so that when the user does select a word, those words are going to be pushed into this array, and then they're later going to be called when we're drawing the Mad Lib. So since this program uses so many buttons, we're going to use the con button object class, which here's the constructor function for that. Here's the method for that. The is mouse inside function for that. So is your mouse on top of that button, and does your mouse click on that button? So once we get started, here's our first button. So it's our start button. So we're going to use the con button class, which is new. Capital B button. Here's our X coordinate or Y coordinate, our label, and then our on click is going to say when this button is clicked, we want the current scene to change to 2. The on clicks of each button are very important in this game because not only are they going to change the scene, but they're also going to be they're going to push the word that the user selects into the arrays so that they can later be called. So once we get through our topic screens, we're going to get here, which is going to be our first word buttons. We'll select the I had a dream. So now we have, this is our scene 3. So here's our jellyfish button we'll use, for example. It's going to have our X, a Y, a width, a label, and on the on click, the current scene is going to change to 4. So when this button is clicked, we're going to change the scene so that we're going to be presented with more buttons. So each of these 6 animals are their own button. Their on-click is every single on-click is going to be the same. It's going to change the scene to 4. So no matter which button the user clicks, the scene's going to change. And whichever button is clicked, we're going to store that label into the array, the empty array up top. So that's what this line of code is doing. So we're getting select a dream, which is the name of the array. We're using dot notation. So we're saying dot push, and we're going to push in the label of this button. So that's what this is doing. So since this is the first one, this is going to be index 0 of the array. And once we click that, we're going to have another scene with more words. This is going to be our first index of the array. So index 1 is going to be our second word we're going to call later on. So like I said, same algorithm. So all of those buttons are all displayed here, and they're all going to be the same since we do have 2 topics. It's double the amount of buttons we just saw. But like I said, they're using the same algorithm, so it's essentially the same thing just over and over and over again. Next up in our code is actually our splash screen, which is displayed on our right here. Once we get to it, these are all the buttons. Like I said, there's a ton. So here's our splash screen. So we're going to have our background, our picture, our text, and we're going to draw the start button and the directions button. So those are being drawn here. So start.draw, directions.draw. So this is one scene. Our direction scene is another screen. Topic screen is another. And here, every set of words, this is one set of words, is its own scene that is going to be called in the draw function later on, but I'll talk about that later. So in each of these scenes, we need, like I said, each word is a button. So all of these buttons are being drawn here. Dream actions is this screen. So each of those buttons, each of those words are being drawn. Like I said, same algorithm. Finally, we get to our Mad Lib. So this is the way we call the words that the user selected. So here's, like I said, the name of that array that the word was stored in, and the index of the array that the word was pushed into. So the first word selected was pushed into index 0, second was index 1, etc. And then we get our whole Mad Lib here. These slash ends are just line breaks, so everything's displayed. And like I said, since it is the same algorithm, essentially the same thing repeated again. This is the other story. Now we get to our mouse press function. So this is saying if the current scene equals 1 and the mouse is pressed, we're checking if the mouse is pressed on these 2 buttons, the start button and the directions button. Like I said, the play screen, the dream button, the grocery button, and then for each scene that is that set of words, for example, here we have a scene, all these buttons need to be checked if the mouse is clicked on them. Like I said, same algorithm, same code, just repeat it over and over again. Once we get to our draw function, like I said previous, we're going to draw each of those scenes here. So this is dream animal. Dream animal is being drawn if the current scene equals 3. If the current scene doesn't equal 3, we're just going to keep going and draw the next one, draw the next one. Like I said, same algorithm, just repeat it over again. And essentially, that's all of the code. Thanks.